You gotta be kidding me.
This is gonna be awesome. She's tracked. Come on.
Okay. Are you okay?
I'm okay. You see that? That Owen guy's pretty alpha.
Oh, you speak to raptors.
Hey, Blue. I brought you something.
Okay. It's the T-Rex. It's the T-Rex.
It's not the T-Rex. See? Not a T-Rex! Come on! Let's go!
We made it! Yeah!
I have to see this.
Hey, girl. You think what I'm thinking? If I don't make it back, remember, you're the one who made me come here. I'll be all right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a bonus episode of the Jurassic Park Podcast. I am your host, Brad Jost, and if you are listening to this, then hopefully you just got out of the theater from seeing Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. I am so excited to finally talk spoilers with all of you. Today I'm going to bring you my spoiler reactions to Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, along with the help of Bryce Dallas Howard Network's Jennifer Terek and Chris Pugh of the Jurassic Outpost team. As you probably know, we went to New York a few weeks back and we saw the film. So in this episode, you're going to hear from me outside the theater while I was waiting for Jen and Chris. And then we're going to cut to our spoiler reactions from the film. We stood outside on the street corner. It's about 50 minutes long. It's like kind of a deep dive into our experience seeing the film for the first time. I will say that even the very next day, I found myself being more and more positive about the film. And certainly since the score has been released, I've had a lot of time to think about this film and analyze the score, just think about it over and over again. So, yeah, it's just been a different experience the day after, the days after, the weeks after. So while our initial reactions didn't, fully stick, I think we still bring up some really good points on the issues with the film. Of course, we talk about everything that we loved about it. There was so much to love. I really did love it. I think initially, which you'll hear in a few, we all sounded kind of like, just dumbfounded in that moment. We didn't know how to react. So I think you'll hear a lot of that, and you'll hear us working through a lot of it. But overall, I will say that I did love that film. But before we actually dive into this full episode, make sure you do go back in our feed. Check out our non-spoiler looks at Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. These episodes aired a few weeks ago. I did a solo reactions episode. Tom Fishenden also did one when he saw it at the actual UK release. And I think a lot of people back then were probably staying away from the episodes because of spoilers. So maybe if you did skip those, I just wanted to kind of remind you to go back, take a listen if you want to. Here are, non-spoiler looks. I think they're pretty interesting. And I'll make sure to include all the links to those episodes in the show notes for this episode. And, of course, you can also find them on JurassicParkPodcast.com. So, this is a very exciting time. We are finally post-Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. You've seen it. What do you think? Are you upset? Are you sad? Are you happy? How are you feeling? What are your emotions right now after finally seeing this movie after 3 long years of waiting? It's incredible. I don't even know how to feel still, so I'm still processing it all. There is so much to go over, so many deep dives coming, and yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So without further ado, I'll start you off with my final thoughts before seeing the film, and then jump into our spoiler chat with Jen and Chris. Enjoy. Hey everybody, Brad here. I am reporting to you live from New York City. I am standing outside of an AMC theater here in Lincoln Square, and we have some advanced tickets to see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, brought to you in part by some awesome work from Jennifer Terek and Chris Pugh at Jurassic Outpost. So this is very exciting. The countdown is on until we see this movie. You know, it's happening tonight. I figured I'd give you guys some final words here before I officially see this movie, and I know everything about it, and it's going to be crazy. I don't know. This is one of those moments you try to remember, you know, because, I remember seeing Jurassic World, and it won't be nearly as memorable as that because we had a long time. What do we have, 14 years? Yeah, 14 years from Jurassic Park 3. So the hype was crazy. And I was also getting married that weekend. So I was up in Pennsylvania at a nice farm preparing for the wedding. And then a few nights before the wedding, we decided to go out to Dixon City, Pennsylvania, and go to a theater and watch it for the first time. And Jurassic World really blew me away. I was super impressed. We recorded a bunch of stuff before, during, and definitely after. So I don't know, this feels very cool. I don't know, I feel almost more hyped. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it looks so good. It looks so epic. It looks interesting. Like, I just don't know where they're going to go with this, and there's all these questions about where the movie will end up and where the franchise will go after this. So I think that's the important part here is, you know, Jurassic World brought us new stories, new landscape to play with, and this movie is going to take it a step farther, and I just don't know where that is. So I am just ready. I'm ready to see this movie. I know you are all ready to see it. If you haven't seen it already, hopefully you can get out there to see it soon. But this is exciting. This is very exciting. I don't want to have expectations. I kind of want to go in blind, you know. Obviously, I've seen all the trailers, all the marketing, everything that's out there, but I do want to experience this a little fresh if possible. So I'm trying not to think about all those images that I've seen, all the videos, all the behind the scenes, all the knowledge that we have, you know, from doing a podcast about it, day after day almost. So I kind of want to go in fresh and just let it happen. Just experience it as it's happening. Be surprised. But I'm ready. I don't know about you guys, but I am very pumped, very excited to see this movie. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I have no doubt about that. I am afraid. I'm afraid of where it will go. I'm afraid of the things that they'll do. I know I've talked about that a lot before, but, you know, it's going to tread new ground, I think, and I don't know where it's going to go. So that's the exciting part, I guess, is what happens from here. You know, who bites the dust, who lives on, what happens to Nublar. You know, it looks like it's burning to ashes, so it's not going to be good no matter what. But I have those questions. I don't want to put too many theories in my mind at the moment. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand right now. I've had a blast these past few years, discussing what's going to happen in this movie. And that moment is almost over, you know, and then it's going to start again. It's going to start right over again. As soon as the credits roll, the questions are going to be in my mind. What happens next? What happens in Jurassic World 3? It's gonna kill me. I'm super pumped. I can't describe. I'm just like so excited right now because I've said I don't have the chance to go opening weekend due to some issues on my end, so I didn't even buy tickets, and I didn't know when I was going to be able to see it. So thank you to Chris and to Jen for making it happen. I am just like on my knees, like, you know, praying. Thank you so much for doing that. So it's exciting. I can't wait to see it, and I'm excited to talk about it when we can, because this will be recorded a few weeks before the movie premieres in the US, so won't be able to talk to you about it, but when it does, I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting, and I'll see you guys then, and I'll have some reactions for you, of course, as soon as the recording is, or as soon as the movie is over. So stay tuned for all that, and I'll see you later.
Do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur? First time you see them, it's like a miracle. You read about them in books, you see the bones in museums, but you don't really believe it. They're like myths. And then you see the first one alive.
This is not your fault.
But it is.
This one's on me. I showed him the way.
Hey guys, we just got out of a movie called Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We're standing on the streets of New York, just on the sidewalk, so if you hear this ambient noise, it's just lovely. So I'm here with Chris Pugh from Jurassic Outpost. Say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Jennifer Terek from BDH Network and our podcast.
Hi.
So, wow, like, I personally don't know how to process this movie. That bus is very loud. I don't know how to process this. I know, you know, here's what I'll say. This is obviously full of spoilers, but it felt like I saw the trailers and then I saw the movie, and that was it.
Yes.
Like, everything was in the trailers.
Yeah.
Hated that.
Like, to like a shocking degree.
Yeah.
Not everything.
Well, the minor details here and there were not. Yeah, like there's a few things here and there, and one big thing that was not in the trailers, but everything else, like every plot point, every beat, everything was in the trailers.
And the things that weren't in the trailers were heavily telegraphed from the trailers, or like the Lego sets or things like that. So it's like,
yeah. Well, the one thing, you know, since we're full spoilers, the very end, like when the Indoraptor bites it,
yeah.
I didn't expect it to go down the way it did, except I knew that's what was going to happen. You know, like,
yeah.
I didn't expect Blue to come back and salvage the situation.
I thought Blue was going to die. I thought the Indoraptor was going to go on one horn and Blue was going to go on the other.
So did
I wanted to be sad at that point, so I was like, oh, come on, it sounds weird. It sounds weird. I wanted Blue to bite it there because I'm like, oh, it's going to be tragic. Let me be like kind of
but
like
it was
sad.
Heartbreaking when she walked away from Owen, though.
Some really nice visuals.
Oh
there.
yeah. There was a lot of repeat moments, I feel like, from Jurassic World and other movies. Parallels, like that moment when she left Owen. Like, it was just like the same moment.
You would almost think Jurassic World came out 20 years ago, and it's like, remember Jurassic World? It's like,
yeah. And obviously, you pointed out before there's a cubby that she's trying to get down to very Jurassic Park. Like,
I really like that.
Yeah, me too.
that was great.
That. I wish I knew less. Like, I think I would have loved it so hard if I didn't know, because I knew what to expect. I knew that all the callbacks and everything. I knew they were going to do the Raptor kitchen scene.
Yeah.
I knew too much.
Yeah, definitely knew too much. I don't think that I like the movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I got to see it again.
Yeah.
But after the movie was over, we sat there for like 10 minutes, and even after that, we still didn't know what to say.
We didn't say anything. We just kind of sat there in silence for a little
shocked.
while.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
I don't know.
I was thinking in my head, like, we have not said any words to each other. This has been completely silent. Like, and everybody else is getting up and leaving, and
we weren't even moving. We weren't even looking at each other.
Kind of like just staring at the blank screen.
We were just shocked.
Like, okay.
We were like, what was that?
A lot of it had to do with the post-credit scene. You know, we were waiting for that.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just contain our emotions until the very end.
But you know, even without that, I think we would have sat there a good amount of time.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, wow.
That post-credit scene, it would have been so incredible if it weren't on this movie, but if it were on Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
Like, that was the movie. That was like Jurassic Park 3's post-credit.
It should have said, like, you know, however many years ago was Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
You know, however many, like, on the bottom. But I really don't even know. Like,
I don't either.
Let's start with Claire.
Okay.
All right. So I think this was a great movie for Claire.
I do too. I fully agree. I mean, she wasn't in it a whole lot. She's in Jurassic World a lot more, but Owen wasn't either. It was more like an ensemble piece, which is fine. But it did feel very Lost Worldy. But what she had, I'm happy with, and I'm glad it was there. My conspiracy spoiler did not happen, but I'm okay. Like, there was a lot I'm okay with. I don't have a problem with her.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I think she was a great character in this movie. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting to watch her develop into this character over a movie rather than jumping straight into her. However, it was totally a satisfying character to watch. I wish there was more of her. I wish there was less of Owen.
Yeah. I think, we said that from Jurassic World, too. It's just like we need less of this guy and more of her, since it was her story. This movie was a mishmash of whose story it was. Like,
it wasn't really a clear character arc.
No,
it wasn't anybody's story. It was just...
It was like
the world happening.
Sort of Blue's story, but...
It should have been... It probably should have been Lockwood and Maisie's story.
Yeah.
I think that they were a lot of the heart of the movie, and I think that they were the characters that when they were on screen, they really captivated me. Like, as soon as, like, those characters were on screen, I really felt like a lot of emotion. I was really invested in them.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel as invested in Owen at all. And I was definitely interested in Claire's arc. I felt like she kind of helped drive things along. She was a lot of fun. I like Zia. I really like Zia.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Yeah, they were good. I thought they were a little bit annoying in the beginning.
Who, like Zia and Franklin and them?
But they were okay. And then they disappeared for a bit in the middle. I'm like, I forgot about that.
Literally, when Franklin pops back up, it's like, oh, buddy.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. How is he still around? Like, he's just, like, in that, like, scientist suit or whatever?
Franklin, Jurassic Park story, just, like, that period of, like, 30 minutes where he disappears. Like,
that's a good spin-off.
Like a comedy.
Just him screaming the whole time.
Man, there was a lot of suspense. And I felt like my heart going a bit like that. And when she was going to push that button, in my mind I'm thinking, do I want her to push that button or not? Like,
I was like, no, do not, because like that will ruin the character for me. Like, in that sense.
I didn't want to see them die, but I wanted to see.
Like,
I know.
I wanted her to be flawed, and I'm like, how flawed do I? Like, I was having an internal discussion with myself. I'm like, how flawed do I? But she's gonna come back from it. It's gonna be a bounce back somehow, just like this was a bounce back apparently.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, she's gonna bounce back if she pushes it or not. But how far do I want her to bounce back? Do I want her to push that button? I don't know. I had a strong internal battle with myself.
Well, it doesn't matter because it got pushed anyway. So it's like, it was just weird.
Okay.
Like,
I want to say something, and this is a bit of a nitpick.
Yeah.
But everyone had the most absurd reasons for wanting to save the dinosaurs. It was never about empathy. It was always like, save them for the kids, or save them because they're created, like, and like, it was never like they're animals, like they're living things. Like, for me, that's the biggest thing. It's like they're living things. I can empathize with that right there, and that's enough. There's a lot of baggage that comes with it, and how far you take it. But I think the problem was every time someone went to save them, it was always like, for our children, or like oh, they're created in the lab, so I empathize with them. It's like, man, they're living. That's all I really needed to empathize. I understand it. Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
No, I think Claire was that person who empathized. I disagree that she would have empathized with them, but in this movie, that's what happened.
That's a different story.
She was like the only one that cared about their lives.
Yeah, but she always would say, like, well, even like at the beginning where she's talking, like, well, let me ask you, Senator, do you have children? Do you want your children to grow up in a world?
That's at the beginning. She's trying to sell her idea, but I think truly, like, she felt for them. I don't believe that she did, but
yeah, that's my problem. Is I don't have that backstory where she believes, and I don't know if the novel will sell me on that.
I don't know. I'm still not buying the DPG. I'm not buying it, but in the movie though, she was the only one that cared for them. But I'm not buying that DPG stuff.
The movie setup feels like a big reaction to the criticism of Jurassic World, and that's the thing is I believe wholly that Claire could have gone at this point, and I even believe that I don't fully land where you do with Claire. I think that she definitely empathizes with the animals more than you're giving her credit, but I do think that we needed, not needed, I still enjoyed it, but I think it would have been a little bit more gratifying to see her develop a little bit. I think that there were just stories to be told post-Jurassic World and the fallout that kind of led to this, because there definitely was a fallout.
I would have liked to see the fallout. I know that's something I've always said that I wanted to see was the fallout, and we skipped past the fallout, and I felt kind of cheated, because I don't understand why she was so passionate about dinosaurs. There's no denying she was. She was the one character that really was passionate about the lives, but I don't understand why she was passionate about the lives.
Yeah.
I need that part. I didn't get that.
I don't know.
I still didn't get that.
I'm not sure if that will be resolved, because even once you read the book, and maybe you have at this point when this airs, but
that'd be cool. Please.
But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense overall, I don't think. But why don't we touch on like the biggest, weirdest thing in this movie? Human clones?
I'm confused.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, but I really like it too.
Because there's no weird, disingenuous reason for it happening. It just happened for a very emotional and human reasons. And it's a very logical progression of that science. In a world where cloning dinosaurs is possible, that is an eventuality that absolutely would play out. And I think it is the most human and most natural way to explore the world that InGen has created. I think that is the most natural direction it would go. And I love it. And I think that it was handled in such a human and real way.
Yeah. I can get behind that. I don't know how I feel about it yet, being in a Jurassic Park movie, but it's definitely going to cause a lot of controversy, I think. I think so.
It's quite Michael Crichton.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And it feels very natural in that world. Now, I'm curious how it's going to tie into the story and how it's going to drive the story further and forward.
Because it's not a dinosaur movie at that point.
Yeah. And I guess it's maybe playing into the idea of ethics and genetic engineering and just how that's changing the world and the world is being reshaped. And I mean, so like anytime like the movie was like, we're militarizing the dinosaurs, I really like, there was a point, I forget what it was, I literally, and this never happens to me, I don't actually roll my eyes watching movies, I'm too invested in them. I only roll my eyes when I talked about them. I literally rolled my eyes. I think it was when Mills was talking to Eversole, and like he was like,
I know what you're talking about, I rolled my eyes too.
Like I was like, really? Like, nobody in the right, like, not like this.
Single dinosaurs, too. It's like, I'm going to buy one for $20 million and then militarize it. I didn't really understand that whole aspect of the buyer, really.
There was a lot of missing pieces. Like, I felt like it skipped too much. It was trying to cover too much in one film.
There was a lot of that. Like, it would go from one scene to the next, and people would be in different places. You kind of have to figure it out behind the scenes, what happened, how they got to where they got.
Invested if it kept jumping.
Yeah.
I honestly get the feeling that maybe this movie, to hit like around a 2-hour runtime, maybe was there a scene, was Blue fast forwarded when she was running away from the fire? I think they straight up fast forwarded her, like the scene where she was running away
I know
from the
what
explosion.
you mean, because it was real quick.
It was like, I was like, like I honestly thought I like stroked out for a second, because it was like, things got really weird. I was like, oh, what's happening in my brain? I'm like, no, she like, I swear they fast, but
that whole part was cut differently in the trailer.
Oh
too.
yeah,
like,
it wasn't. Owen wasn't like, do you think what I'm thinking? Like, he just didn't even say it to Blue.
That
like,
to the Stiggy.
Yeah, so this movie was very different than Jurassic World or Jurassic Parks, any of those. It was much more of an action movie. We were kind of talking about that before, like that Blue scene particularly, like that's like an action movie for a dinosaur. And then Owen was like straight up James Bond, like
Jason Bourne.
Like, he took down an entire facility of people. It was crazy, but I loved it. I loved that moment. I was just like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I get it. It's not plausible by any means.
There was a lot of ridiculousness in this movie, and I don't like ridiculousness.
It was very ridiculous.
It was very ridiculous.
It tried to be an action movie, and I think it tried to be an action movie for a lot of the movie. And I think when it tried to be an action movie, it wasn't a very good movie. Mm-hmm. I think anytime it stopped trying to be an action movie, it was incredible. Except for the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were all monsters, and except for that worked really well at the Indoraptor. Blue was amazing, and the first 5 minutes were amazing. The stuff on Nublar kind of lost me, and then the stuff in like the last end of it, sort of like I was like, okay, I mean, like I can. Ridiculous. It was a little like it was just too much. Like these are supposed to be animals.
You know where it won though? Like it was ridiculous, and Owen fighting all those millions of people was ridiculous, and there was a lot of ridiculous because how did they get on the roof? That was ridiculous. But
I love that's the part of the years held up.
Yeah.
I hate that part. I ruined it for me. Okay, but I loved
ruined it. Hate it now.
I can't do it. I loved Eli Mills a lot.
Yeah.
And I really liked him going for the phone, but then going for the pillow instead.
Oh,
and then,
what a monster!
And then the girl coming through the window to like come to her grandfather again. That was when it was good. That was when it was at its best.
Yeah.
When she came in through the window.
That was when it was at its best. And then she knew how to climb around the building because she's always been doing that.
Yeah.
Like that was good.
You know about we kind of even glossed over her being the clone. Like the entire movie, they're teasing like, who's her mom? Yeah. And Lockwood's like, oh yes, she's been to the park before. And then I think at that moment you're like, who is it?
Yeah.
Who's been to the park? Yeah. What woman has been to the park that could be her mom? And then they pull this picture out and they just miss it. Like you can't see who it is. And like they're setting this up for something big.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that twist in a way, but I was like, there's nobody, like unless they're gonna like throw some weird wrench that some random character that we know was at the island. And I don't know. That didn't really work for me. But
me neither.
But it was, I liked the reveal. I thought it was interesting, at least.
I still don't really understand it. Am I stupid?
It was so glossed over. Like you were saying, this movie just is so fast-paced. It doesn't stop to breathe too much. A few moments here and there, but like stuff like that was glossed over, and it makes you wondering what the hell is next.
See, that's why that Eli Mills scene with the pillow was so good, because it was slow. It was like one slow moment in the movie.
Moments the movie took itself slow, it was just so well done.
Yeah, it was very Jurassic.
Like, I liked even, or not even, like, I'm not even trying to judge it. I'm just trying to judge it as, like, a film, because I'm trying to pull my preconceived notations of what a Jurassic Park movie should be, and just trying to wholly judge it and enjoy it as a film.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it was too fast for its own good. Definitely too fast for its own good. And I think sometimes the screenplay sped past the story, doing the story a disservice that the screenplay never lived up to its story at times, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Like the structuring of it and the kind of the execution of it sometimes didn't really live up to, but the moments that it did, man, did it live up to it. Like, man, did it. And like when they're in the cage, when she's saying, remember the first time you saw a dinosaur, and just a lot of the character moments, especially in Lockwood's house and everything, they're so super.
Yeah. We were talking about it before, about like connection with the score. In that moment when they're in the cage, the score is that ye old visitor center from the first movie, or the Jurassic World, and you're like, I'm just thinking, how does that connect to anything? You know, how the first, I don't know how it connects to them walking through the visitor center. Like, that's my thing. I love scores, and I love to see how everything connects. In this sense, it doesn't really connect for me. I love the score. I thought it was amazing, but there's not a lot of those like themes.
They should have played that when the island was like they were going away from the island. They should have played it there.
I could have heard that.
Because whenever they're in the cell talking and the music, that was like just because they needed a sentimental moment, like just because. I didn't really care for it there either.
See, you know what the thing is? I think that the music there, because that music when it was first introduced, it was like kind of a throwback to Jurassic Park, because we're going through the ruins of Jurassic Park. And I think now it's almost become a nostalgia theme. So when she's talking about, do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur? It's kind of breaking the fourth wall. The music itself,
kind of going back.
It's asking the audience to remember the first time they saw a dinosaur, which then harkens back to Jurassic Park. Okay. Whether or not it's incredibly the right move or not, I mean, the music. I don't know. The music works in the scene if you haven't seen Jurassic World. Like, it's like, yeah,
for sure, it works in the scene.
But
and I like. We talk about this a lot on the podcast. Is not using music when you shouldn't. You know, like just make it silent, make it clean and quiet. There was one moment that stood out was when Owen was walking through the jungle looking for Blue, and I was like, there's no music. I just hear the jungle. I just hear like him walking and just trying to find Blue, and that worked really well for me.
Yeah.
I liked, going back to Claire real quick because I'm reanalyzing this. I didn't feel for her or really care about her mission until the end. Like when she had to really watch them like literally die and know that she's letting them die and it's her responsibility to let them die, and she knows she can't let them out. Like, that's the first time I felt the DPG. That's the first time I felt really why she's doing it and why she started this, and she really does care. Because until that point, I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you in this office? Why are you going to these people? I don't know, because we missed that. Yeah. We missed all of that. So we don't have any motivation of why she's doing any of that. But at the end, though, I think there was another part that I can't remember. I have to see it again. But two moments where I was like, okay, maybe I could buy this. Maybe I could buy this DVD. But the thing is, I wish I didn't have to wait till the end of the movie to get there. We should have been there at the start, because then we could have felt it all the way through. Yeah. But they just plopped it in there, and I don't know.
I can buy the motivation. It's a sense of responsibility plus empathy, and I don't fully say. I think that people lay a lot of responsibility, but she was just a park manager.
Yeah.
There's only a certain level of responsibility that really came with that, out of all honesty. But I think it's just an empathy towards living things in general and animals. And then a sense of responsibility. I think that it's so connected. It became such a core part of her life that I totally believe that she'd be involved in something like that. Do I think the execution was a little bit wonky? Or was a little bit like, save the dinosaurs. Hey guys, how's it going? Like, it was a little bit. Like, that's where I felt like they could have allowed us to see the character develop a little bit more rather than just jumping right into it, because it was like kind of like, okay, Claire's completely different. Sometimes for the better though. I mean,
I thought she was pretty awesome. She had a lot of really intense moments. She saved the day quite a few times, and like specifically when they're in the hatch, like they're trying to open the hatch, and that's a moment where you could see like Owen on the other side or something, like open the hatch and save the day. But no, she saved the day.
Yeah.
She did it. She muscled it out and opened that thing up.
Oh, I remember something. They had a lot of close calls. I wanted to mention, like there was a lot of per seconds, and the flash thing that Bayona did, like frequently. Whenever at the beginning with the T-Rex behind the guy, like they do the lightning flash, and then they did it when they're in the elevator. They did the flash on the people in the elevator, and they did it again in that scene you were just talking about, I think. But they kept doing that flash, and I really liked that. There
was a lot of cool visual moments, like the shot from above the Indoraptor as it's passed out on the floor is like fully lit up.
Oh my god!
And the Indoraptor is just this like silhouette essentially on there. It's awesome.
They were doing the flash with when they were stabbing the Indoraptor too, to get him excited or whatever in the cage, and they're auctioning. And he was on they were doing that, like that flash of a shadow or whatever was really good. I didn't see that. I haven't seen that in a movie really done that much in that while. I really like that.
Bayona and Oscar Fora played with lighting and framing the shot. It was so good. It was so good. And there were so many visuals that honestly I'm like, oh, that could be a poster, that could be a poster, that could be a poster, that could be a poster. I mean, like, really? I think that there's going to be, like, after the movie's probably out on Blu-ray, I think there's going to be a spoiler poster of the Indoraptor at its demise with Blue perched up, and like that, like it was framed right down the middle. So I'm like, that's a poster right there. Like I would hang that on my wall probably, like, because
that was an intense moment for me. The Indoraptor flies down from the ceiling or the roof, slow motion, and they twist and turn.
Because you don't know who's gonna land,
you don't know,
right?
and you know what's underneath them, that they're about to be impaled, and you're like, please twist the right way so that Blue doesn't. And luckily, surprisingly, not a lot of people died. Like in terms of like people we know, and like a few of the obvious bad guys and stuff.
There's some gruesome deaths.
That was very gruesome, very gruesome. The Indoraptor just.
That.
Oh my god, Indoraptor overall was real gruesome. Yeah, I loved like when Wheatley was like trying to pry the tooth out, and he's just like, why can't I get this thing? And then it's toying with him, and then
what disconnected me from that is Indoraptor smiling.
The smile.
Why did they make it like all they had to do is the eye and have its tail do the little flickers? That's so Velociraptor, but no.
A little smile, I thought the same thing.
I'm like, well, that was weird because my immediate reaction was like, wait, did I imagine a smile or was it a smile? Was that purposeful? And I was like, that was weird. So kind of like my mind sort of like, was a little, that was a bit hokey.
There's a few moments like that. I think Owen really didn't do much of them for me. Like he was fine for the most part. I think he was more realistic of a character, I think, than he was in Jurassic World.
I actually think he was less likable because he didn't do anything.
Sure.
Like he was the less likable. He wasn't the star of this. Like there was no star. It was the ensemble.
Yeah, for sure.
Claire wasn't, like, no one was a star, and I definitely don't think he was. I mean, he was a set piece. Everyone was a set piece.
The dinosaurs were a set piece.
Everybody was a set piece. Who was the
except
lead?
for the monologues. Anytime there's a monologue between characters, it was like so fantastic. It was like, oh, this is so cool. Just why doesn't the movie have more glued to?
I like that the dialogue was a bit different than the trailers too, which was helpful. And that bar scene when Claire's like, "So you're just gonna let Blue die?" He's like, "Yeah." And my heart broke at that moment. I was like, wow, really? Like, the way we've perceived them is that he loves that dinosaur, he loves that animal like it's his pet. But no, apparently not. Like, I mean,
it did win him over.
It won him over, but like at that moment, he didn't care. He didn't care. He would have stopped everything, except he didn't. He obviously went along.
Yeah. Well, he had to go like reminisce with his videos and stuff,
the
but
videos.
I really thought he'd be there.
What if his hard drive failed like that day? Like, that's it. He's not on the plane the next day.
She's dead now. She's a.
Oh, you know what was cheese-tastic? Whenever they get on the plane and she's like waiting for him, and he's like already on the plane. Yeah. I'm rolling my eyes like, oh my god.
Waiting on morning for whatever reason.
I'm like, come on.
Where you guys been?
He was so unlikable to me. I don't know.
You know what? The one thing that really bothered me with Owen is I didn't believe his acting, Chris Pratt's acting when he was working with the baby raptors. There was like no emotion. Like he had emotion in his eyes when he was dealing with human characters. His eyes are just sort of dead anytime he worked with the baby raptors. He's like, did you see that? But I never felt like he actually had that connection with the dinosaurs in the way that any of the actors did. It's like, I feel like Chris Pratt couldn't play off of whatever placeholders they had.
Yeah.
Like when it was supposed to be like, oh, he's really loving them, like, or he thinks they're cute. Like I don't know why I didn't buy it in those scenes. It was weird.
I didn't really pay attention to him too much, so I was just focused on the baby. You know, God, that was incredible. I mean, we knew that they were all going to be there. And
little puppy raptors.
I kind of talked about like this previously, like that this will give us some context to those deaths, the raptor deaths in the last movie.
Yes.
Like, and make it even more sad. I don't know how much, but I think it will affect me the next time I watch Jurassic World.
Well, it makes the concept of a trained or not even trained, but tamer velociraptor. This movie sold me on it in a way that Jurassic World never did.
For sure, yeah.
When you realize, for one thing, it was Blue. That was kind of the glue that held that pack together. It was in her like literal DNA, just the way like one wolf eventually had it in its genetic code that allowed it to be more tameable. And I really kind of bought it. Like it wasn't like his training. It wasn't like that. Really
trained real hard.
It was the animal itself. That's what made it special.
Yeah.
It was Blue, and it was the animal. I'm like, you know what? Now it clicks a lot more now that we saw as a baby. And when you only have one raptor, also obeying his like, whoa there, raptor girl.
Yeah.
When it's only one, it really buys a lot more when there's a pack of raptors. So I felt like this movie sold that.
Yeah.
In a way that
you
World
just
never
sold
did.
me on that more than I thought, because you're right. She was different from the start, and that
She
was
felt like an
important.
animal in this movie.
And that was important.
Yeah, I'll say that. And I think it gives more context to Blue. Like, she's even more special than we originally thought, in a way. Like,
that was good.
She's got more command abilities than we originally knew. She's just very smart and necessary for...
And a very empathetic animal. A very, very intelligent, empathetic animal. And, the movie kind of hints that it's also in her DNA, and that Henry was trying to design the raptors. I mean, they talk about multiple batches of raptors. He calls Delta from batch 2, and then Blue is from the new batch. So he's had a history with velociraptors that did not work out. Before he got this pack, and it's really not even the pack that even mattered. It was just Blue. She had that alpha dominance, but also a sense of empathy, which just kind of made it work.
Yeah.
The other raptors were a tornado and into pieces if Blue was not there to kind of whip them into shape.
Yeah, that's pretty funny to think about, because he just didn't have as much control. Blue had the control, which maybe Blue was the alpha the whole time. I don't know.
Exactly.
Just playing him the whole time. I don't know. Where do we go from here? Like,
I don't know where we
what do we even think? There's dinosaurs everywhere.
What is Claire and Owen going to do now?
Become parents?
Raise baby. Iris is like, guys, I can take the girl.
She's just gone for the rest of the movie.
Iris is just like, all right.
Yeah.
That girl's a lot of work.
I don't know how to feel about any of that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a dinosaur world now, I guess. But how many? Was it?
Okay. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I felt a little bit of disconnect with what Malcolm was saying with the comparison of the amount of dinosaurs that got free. He was like you would think it was Planet of the Apes with dinosaurs with the way that he was talking. I was like, man, you got 15 dinosaurs.
I was going to say 16 dinosaurs just got out. Was there a male and a female? I guess, does that even matter anymore? I don't know. Like, what? I don't even know where we stand on that.
That final scene with Blue, by the way, she looked really cool when she's running the countryside. But imagine if that final scene when she's running the countryside, if we saw a second, we think we know the scene, and then a second raptor
making it even better,
and then the camera pans down and there's a nest of eggs. Then it's crap. But no, there's only one raptor. I'm like,
why are they going to get a second raptor?
That's so sad for Blue. It's the last of her kind.
Yeah.
The other thing that I felt like they could have done is when they were fighting with Mills, I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. This is going to change everything. I feel like all Mills, and they could have set up this I spit my tongue, the sequel a lot better. But I feel like all Mills had to say, don't know what I'm doing. You can't change this. It already... we've been selling these dinosaurs for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for the past 3 years. If they've just been secretly, slowly shuffling them off, all those extinctions that the DPG talks about? Imagine if they weren't extinct, they were just trafficked off the island. And that would have set up a sequel.
Maybe that's the thing, because they did say that, and even Claire, someone was like, why did you need us now at this time? And they're like, well, we need to get Blue now. It's urgent for Blue, but maybe they were getting dinosaurs off the whole time.
Yeah.
I feel like the movie could have
not far-fetched.
really... Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely possible.
That might be possible.
But the movie definitely should have acknowledged it, because it would have made Malcolm's end monologue and narration so much more impactful, because you would have realized, oh, it's not just this handful of species, which other than compies, were there duplicate species that are breeding?
I tried to look. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any. I mean, and yeah, that was very confusing. So we're gonna have a compy Jurassic World.
Yeah, it's gonna be compies everywhere.
Like Dieter Stark's nightmare for Jurassic World 3. It's just I don't know. Like I don't know where they go from there, because like those pteranodons at the the very end, like literally just take them out. Like there's no reason that they're alive. Like, I guess at that point
it's kind of a big deal in like the past movies, but this movie,
everybody knows much more about it. It's like
the world has changed so much further beyond that, and that's so small scale comparatively to where they want to be with this.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt the same way when Jurassic World ended, where I'm like, they talked about how much they set up a sequel. I'm like, well, you didn't, because you kind of kept it tight on an island. And all you had to do by some point in that movie is establish that you had other facilities with animals on them.
Yeah.
Maybe not other parks, but other facilities with animals on them in other parts of the world. So then after the park falls, all you had to do is imply it's a free-for-all out there. Like, I feel like just a little bit more of like, oh, there's just a little bit more happening. It still feels a little too small. And it's like, when they keep talking about like, oh, we want to make this universe as big as like Star Wars in terms of like, its expansive opportunities. I'm like, each time I'm like, but you didn't set the hook. You didn't say, well, there are other people making animals.
We can't forget about the briefcase. There was a briefcase with
a load. It's Jurassic World.
Yeah, I know. I was literally going to say that. That was the one thread in Jurassic World that left us hanging. Like, where'd Dr. Wu go? What was in the container? And essentially, this container basically is just like the MacGuffin in a way.
It didn't really matter, except for there was a Dreadnoughtus in the DNA case.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because
it was just too fast. Like I know we've seen it online and stuff.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but that one that people thought did say Dreadnoughtus. I think that's how you say the dinosaur name, is it?
Don't ask me. I don't know how to say dinosaur names for the most part.
But yeah, it did say that. So I was like, okay, so that's a sauropod that we have not seen the films that Wu has a DNA.
They just have it. They just have it laying around,
maybe they think that's what the Mamachiasaurus is in the Lost World. I don't know.
I mean, Wu was probably cooking up stuff in there for 3 years now.
Yeah,
who knows? But they didn't allude to that. Like we were saying, that if they had alluded to that, that would have been a completely different story.
Yeah, I think that. I just would have loved it if it's like, oh yeah, we've been selling these dinosaurs to the highest bidder for the past 3 years. Now we're just opening up on a wider scale. Like, it was very low key, and now we're just kind of like, well, the island's gonna blow, so let's open up for a free for all. Let's
And that's where I wish that Claire's DPG blackmailing came in. Like, they needed her, so they blackmailed her into making the DPG, so she had to do it, and then maybe grown some more like appreciation for the dinosaurs at some point throughout the movie, and then it would have bought the end for sure. But I'm never gonna get over this. That's not right.
Speaking of the DPG and some other stuff, like they sort of talked about like sick dinosaurs on there. We got some behind the scenes thing that said that the Indoraptor was like diseased or something like that.
Yeah, that wasn't even talked about.
There was nothing.
Well, if remember the animatronic,
about that.
It had pieces of flesh missing. But the thing is there's no shots of the animatronic, which is fine because the CG looked fantastic. But there are no shots of the Indoraptor animatronic remaining in the film, as far as I can tell. Because I mean, like they change, like even like if you freeze frame, it has a completely different architecture of her body. It's very similar, but it's different. And it doesn't have the missing bits of flesh anymore. But she does have a weird twitchiness, which I guess I don't know. She kind of seemed a little unstable, not.
It didn't even run straight. It kind of always wobbled when it ran. Like it ran, but it was like wobbly ran.
Galloped. She had an ungainly run, the way
dog horse,
like a small
one of those dog horses, exactly like them.
You know what those are.
All the time, yeah.
Well, look, there's one right now. We should probably get out of here.
It is New York.
Oh my, I don't know. We should probably end it there. That's probably good enough for now.
We'll have lots of thoughts later.
We got years worth of discussion. Years.
Oh
Here we go.
I gotta see it again.
2021.
Next 3 years, the same debates will rage on for 3 years.
Yeah, and specifically a big addition with the human clone aspect. Well, we'll see what that brings.
That part makes me giddy. I don't know why.
It's good, but it's not Jurassic. It's not a dinosaur. Yeah, that's where it's
there was that hint towards the human hybrid thing when it in the glass. We've seen that in the trailers or whatever.
Where I thought they were gonna go. Maybe that is where they're gonna go.
I don't think so. I don't think that they're gonna go that route again. I mean,
I hope not. That would be a nightmare. Please don't.
I already had trouble handling dinosaurs as like monsters that rampage through lava and just want to eat everything and kill everything and charge through everything in this movie.
Speaking of the lava, just to begin beginning when they did the title with all the lava at the beginning.
That was amazing.
I was like, oh, this is going to be
That was pretty awesome.
That was one of the best scenes.
Yeah.
Followed by that first initial scene, and then that lava title. I'm like, that's it.
One disappointment for me. Nothing to do with the Mosasaurs. Like, there was, like, nothing.
It was literally
you saw everything.
In the movie.
Yeah.
In the trailers. Yeah.
You saw everything. And that was a bit of a disappointment. Not even an extension of that surfing shot.
I would have liked to at least seen her eat the surfer.
A chomp, please.
Yeah,
one chomp. Like, how do you cut that short
That was cheesy
and show
too.
that?
In that montage, I don't know.
The montage, yeah. There was a few
cheesy.
montages in this movie, in the beginning and the end.
You see her escape in the beginning, and you're like, because you know the surfer's coming, so you're like, oh, that's where they're going. And then at the end, it's like, that would have been placed better somewhere.
I think the thing is, the movie probably should have like acknowledged it. Like, you know, even with Malcolm, like, and now you have a giant sea creature walking, you know, swimming around and eating, walking around. Man, evolution, it is weird. No, but because that happened like 3 years before. That scene where the Mosasaurus gets free is 3 years before Malcolm's walking. So like, all you had to do is like, and now you have, you know, these unexplained fishing boat deaths around.
Why
the
are
world.
they doing that at night? By the way, is there a reason?
You know,
like,
you know,
drama. That always happens.
You know, it would have worked if it was like, even if it opened up like blockaded territory or something like that, and like we find out like the United Nations have Nublar, like after the incident, like Nublar is on lock.
You don't want that like restricted Jurassic Park 3. You know, that's what you want.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the secret is I love Jurassic Park 3. Cease. This one's for you.
No, have him watch the end, like the last scene. You know, the after the credit scene. And you'll be like, that should have been in Jurassic Park 3.
It
he'll
really
just have
should
that on repeat. Like
he'll
projected
edit
on his
it
wall.
in. He'll edit it in.
He'll
for
Photoshop
himself.
the JP3 Pteranodons in somehow.
Yeah, that's his scene.
And then
That was
he'll
amazing.
attack a Little League game.
Yeah, that's what I was really hoping would happen.
You read that script, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, okay. I did like the news broadcast at the beginning.
Yeah.
Before the DPG stuff. I really like the news
How many
broadcast.
times did we talk about news broadcasts?
Forever.
You know?
I wanted that.
Movie ever mentioned Sorna?
Yes, one time.
It did
Okay.
I think Mills said it maybe when they were just walking into the
What does he say? Because I
library
couldn't
thing.
tell if like I like.
He said the island, Sorna, blah blah blah, something
It's
else.
all in the past,
No,
or-
I don't think it wasn't that, because that was a cut up line. He said that completely different than I expected. I think it was right before they were about to talk about this new island.
Yeah, right when
which
they
they didn't really. I would thought there would be some more mentioning of what island.
There wasn't
or,
even a name for it or where it was.
you could have just called it like Matt and Sarah's or something like that. You know, like.
That was rushed too, and we didn't get the little Maisie playing with the island.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot we didn't
There
get.
were a few
Yeah.
little like character moments that I noticed that were in the trailers that like weren't in this.
I'd be interested to look back again.
I had
just
them
to
in my mind when I
double-check.
was watching, like, oh, we're supposed to get that there, or that. I don't remember what they are now, but that was one where she did the little.
Yeah, that was nice.
Just even slowing the movie down, just a few moments, just lingering shots. Even after characters stop talking, just a moment to kind of like let the camera sit on their face and just let them react to things. I think the movie needed a little bit more of that. Like, it's like when the proximity alert happens, they're immediately running like dinosaur,
Yeah.
and then they both stand in the middle of the freaking.
Then they have nowhere to go.
Like,
I guess they had nowhere to go anyway, but
they did that flash thing again.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I love that flash
Bayona,
thing.
man.
Yeah.
Loved that
Yeah.
flash. But wait, you just brought up a point. I can't remember what it was. I don't know.
Sorna, Mosasaurus.
No, it was
Flash.
about the when it did focus on the characters' faces, reactions, it sold. Like, it was great. But they didn't do that enough. They didn't have enough
Claire's
discussion.
reactions were amazing in this
No,
movie. She
I
was
was-
spot on with
she was
all
so
her
good.
face, like everything she did with her face was.
Brachiosaur scene.
Yeah.
Like when it
yeah.
both times when she was watching him die both times. But cause it was on her, and then it went to Owen. And he's like,
Even
and
the
then it went
stuff
to her,
like.
and she's like dying.
Owen, like the dinosaur scenes, I was like, they need to help him act against
Like he would just have the same face.
Yeah, he's not, you know, he's not like, you know, the greatest actor in the world, but he's fun to watch,
man,
you know. But
she nailed it.
she nailed it.
Oh, I'm
She
so
like
proud.
I think there was some stuff like at Owen's ranch and then maybe the bar where I was like watching her and she's just
Yes.
selling it like so
She
hard. She
nailed
was
it.
like this was like a serious movie.
Yeah.
And then Owen showed up and I'm like, okay, now it's back to the action Jurassic World. But it was like a serious, like you believed everything about her, I thought, at least. Maybe not you, but
I did. No, she sold what she was given. I don't
Yeah.
believe the script that the DPG's her thing,
Yeah.
but she sold it though. She
Yeah,
sold
definitely,
what
I
she was
think so.
given. She did amazing.
She was amazing.
Before, because I know you're looking to wrap this up, I want to bring up one other scene that, like, I was
can't
like,
stop.
it was well directed, completely out of place in the movie, not just in a Jurassic Park movie, which
Okay.
I would argue, but it felt very out of place in this movie. The physical comedy with Owen escaping the lava, it completely
was
just
so
butchers the action. What
really
they were
did.
building up to that, and then what they have play out afterwards, which I don't exactly love, but what they're going for, that completely undoes it. Also, why was the Sinoceratops licking him awake when lava was literally like inches away from its paw?
That's a good point.
I'm calling
All
it
the
paw.
other
Feet, like,
Yeah, it should have been running. And I didn't get that scene. Was it supposed to be funny or not?
It
It
was.
I
was like
didn't
physical
know
comedy.
if it was supposed.
It was
but I'm
definitely
like,
supposed to be
it's
funny, but
not.
it definitely
It's not
wasn't.
supposed
It was
to be
it was too
funny.
long. One funny roll or something.
Like, he should've
I'm like,
just
I
rolled
can't get
over
up,
the log,
and
like,
should
then
have been scary.
end it. Yeah.
That should have been scary. He was
Yeah.
paralyzed. That should have been terrifying. On
It
top of
was
that,
terrifying until
Yeah.
they did that
and,
stupid
and
roll.
then
I'm
they
like,
had
oh.
him, and even the music was sort of like a little like campy in terms
It
of
was, yeah.
It was like scary, but it was sort of like campy the way like it played when the Dimorphodons were, because the Dimorphodons acted a little funny in World because they kind of acted dumb. But yeah, it was a little bit weird, and like
Yeah.
you see like the Jurassic Park Jeep burn. It's like,
Yeah.
wow,
Oh,
we're
That
watching
was
Jurassic
good.
Park burn,
Yeah.
and in front of it is like Chris Pratt. He's acting the hell out of the scene he's given. Like he contorted his bodies in some
He did
phenomenal
some
ways.
great
He
rolling.
really-
Yeah.
he really delivered that content. Bayona filmed it well. It should never, but it just completely like I didn't like it. is the
I didn't.
problem.
I didn't either.
The
I didn't like that either.
The reveal of the lava was great, and then the reveal of him waking up in the lava was great. As soon as he started doing like multiple rolls, I lost it.
Yeah,
I
one
was like,
roll,
oh.
it's like-
he should just rolled over the log, like the first roll. But they sold it until that point. Like it was fine.
Yeah.
It just should have been scary. He was paralyzed. That should have been
That was
horrific.
scary
and it should have
until
been
he started
sad
rolling.
also.
Yeah.
It was scary. I thought like initially before I'm like, what's that?
I know a lot of people have an issue with like the basically avalanche of dinosaurs.
I like that.
I kind of like that scene a lot, and it gave me a lot of feels. You
I'm
know,
like raising my hand. Like, can I?
Jen, go ahead.
The seeking of the gyrosphere was phenomenally done.
That was very good. That was like
that scared me. Like,
very thrilling.
I was terrified. I was like, I can't breathe. Like I
Yeah.
was so scared. That was amazing.
What happened with Owen and it like his hand? He like shot the gun and then he like went like this. I thought he like hurt his hand or something.
I don't know what he did either.
And then he disappeared. I'm like,
Well,
where's he
went
going?
to get
Oh yeah,
air.
he needs air.
But
Like,
I don't know what he like fell
This is
for.
going to sound really nitpicky, and I wasn't really trying to dissect the scene. Like it was just like I was like, wait, what? And immediately it didn't work. I mean, you can't really fire a gun underwater, and like that's just, and also so like what's it doing in this movie? On top of that, we literally had a embellished scene with Jimmy Fallon, Kimmel. Which one is it?
Fallon.
We literally had a scene where we saw the gyrosphere bounce his bullets back. Why did his bullets penetrate the gyrosphere?
Oh, did it? Was there really? Yeah, you're right. There
right.
was.
The bullets weren't supposed to
no.
penetrate.
Oh
no.
But
But
that
they
I
didn't
can live with.
penetrate. They cracked
No,
it.
because
It did
water started
kinda,
trickling
yeah.
in.
It cracked it.
Maybe we'll
And
say
that's
we'll
why he
say
did,
it cracked.
That's why
I
he
don't
did
know.
2 bullets, so you can
Yeah.
like cut through the crack.
Yeah.
But it didn't work
But
anyway.
I don't know. A gun shouldn't be able to, like. That's the thing. Jurassic Park, like, it's breaking the rules of science by saying you can bring dinosaurs back, but it doesn't mean you should break the rules. Rules of reality.
Putting them
for
on that
very
roof.
common and like things like physics and.
Putting them on that roof.
That is not even
broke
like-
Roof is
me.
not my problem.
Literally
It's my problem.
Claire
It's my-
she just came out of a window. There's a window right there.
But
Like
how
she
did
just came
Blue
out.
like get there right at the same time?
Well, you could say that about how did she get up to the room
I
too?
have
Like
problems with
everything.
that.
There's a lot of
it's
conveniences.
convenient.
You know,
I
like,
hate
like the submarining gyrosphere and a
the
lot of stuff. But
conveniences
there's a lot of
of that.
conveniences.
And the same ending
I can be
Jurassic
okay with that.
kind
It's
of,
yeah.
like,
There's
Blue fights the hybrid.
Yeah, I got
yeah.
Jurassic World vibes. I'm
A lot
like,
of
we're
the same
doing
beats.
this again.
yeah.
But you know what? It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
go
knew
ahead.
they were going to do that callback with the laser because they've explained how the gun works and
Yeah,
how the train.
they're
I'm
like, there's
they're,
a reason,
They're
yeah.
going to bring that back. Yeah.
I don't know how Owen knew what she was planning though. Like the way they looked at each
He's
other.
like,
Like,
wait.
oh,
I would have been like, no, don't shoot.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
no.
you had enough.
But like it looked like they rehearsed it. I was like, they have some sort of.
I would
Well,
have liked him
no.
saying like, okay, fine, you broke up with me. Like,
No, they knew because he saw it. He saw a demonstration with
Yeah,
the gun.
yeah.
Like
How
they
much-
knew.
His
He knew.
Indiana Jones roll underneath or slide or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, it was.
That's like the least
There-
thing I have.
I don't
trouble
mind the
with.
action of Owen. He was fun for me. Unintentionally funny moment, which I didn't find it funny, but a lot of people in our theater did. When as soon as the human clone thing was revealed, a lot of people laughed.
Yeah, I was very confused. It was literally like like the right-hand side of our theater, only the right-hand side,
yeah.
but it was the right-hand side of the theater, erupted in laughter.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
felt
miss a
really...
joke?
Yeah, there was another moment, I think, where people started laughing. I'm like, oh no, this is the crowd that we have. And I'm like, it's a bunch of critics or something that people just don't like the movie. I don't know. But early on, and then that moment with the clone thing, and I was like, I can hear it now. I can hear the internet, catching on fire and just like trashing the movie. I don't know what to think about it at this point. Do you guys, after we talked about it, do you like it?
I still don't know.
Pauses. Oh no.
My gosh. Yes. I wish I would have seen it without trailers or anything. I would have had a more genuine yes. I probably would have loved it then. I loved Claire. Can I just say that?
Yeah.
I loved her so much. I might have problems with the movie, but I have not a single problem with my babe.
Yeah.
Very proud of her.
What do you think?
When it was good, it was phenomenal. It was great. I mean, I cannot sell enough. When I didn't like it as much, it was clunky, it was cheesy, and I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it was a fun thrill ride that I have mixed feelings about. But my mind has already jumped to like what it means for the lore. So like, I'm kind of embellishing myself in that. I really, really appreciate what the movie did right.
Yeah.
I feel like when the movie got things right, it got it right a lot more than Jurassic World ever did. But I think Jurassic World is a more enjoyable movie overall.
So far, I'm thinking the same thing.
And a more well-composed, like a more well-paced and well-put-together film with a clearer arc. And But this movie was really, when it was really tight and when it was really well done, I mean, it was like the first 5 minutes are literally the best things, I think, outside of the first film of Jurassic Park.
I think that's fair.
I mean, after Jurassic World, I cried, I was in tears, I was over-emotional. After this film, we didn't talk for 10 minutes because we didn't know what to do. It was a totally different after-film experience.
Yeah.
So Jurassic World was better.
It's a movie that needs, I think, a lot of analyzing. Like, it needs multiple viewings to figure out what is going on. It's not as straightforward as Jurassic World, where it's just like, this is what you expect. This is the movie you expect. This movie is a little bit different than that, so it takes a little bit more time, I think.
And it takes itself more seriously, so I think the times that it falls apart, it's a little bit more jarring, because the movie takes itself so much more seriously that the times it's like a little bit clunkier. It's like, ooh, it really shows in a more serious movie.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, and the T-Rex didn't have hardly anything to do, which surprised me. And I thought the T-Rex was okay. I thought, this is what I wish would have happened. When the gas was coming in and they were going to let the dinosaurs out, I thought the T-Rex would have already died from the gas because she was old and weak. And I thought she would have already died in the cage and not made it out.
I would have assumed a lot of dinosaurs already died. That gas was completely thick in there. Yeah,
I thought.
I would have thought they would have been goners. Yeah.
Open the door and we look at them and they're all just dead already.
I mean, maybe they did to some of them, but
heartbreaking too.
But
like for her to actually open the door and then none of them.
Nothing comes out. And it's just they're dead.
No Owen death as I've wanted.
We didn't get
I really wanted that. No dinosaurs.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I kind of. I've been talking about stakes. I think there was enough stakes for me in this movie, but I wanted more stakes in terms of like I want something serious, an outcome that's serious.
Like, when Blue, when I thought Blue was gonna die, I'm like, here it is. This is kind of like what this movie kind of needed.
It's Blue's story. Like a finish. You start, you see the birth essentially, and then you see the end.
Although I feel like they can't kill her until she has a brood, like a nest,
maybe
a batch of eggs. So I think that Jurassic World 3 will probably somehow give her a nest, and I think they don't kill her off.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense.
It's a lot of questions. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Definitely need another viewing.
What would we give it all out of 10 just right now initially?
Oh God, rankings.
Not with the other Jurassics, just like as this movie by itself. What would we give it out of 10? Okay, I'm gonna give Claire an 11 out of 10.
Okay,
I'm gonna give the movie 7.3.
Oh wow, I was gonna say 7. So you just
7 is where I land for Jurassic World. So I always say Jurassic World is a 7 out of 10 movie with a 9 out of 10 fun factor.
Okay.
I think that Jurassic World was significantly better than this movie. I have no idea where that puts me on our number system.
Yeah. I'm terrible at like ranking things.
It's
I
so rudimentary and sort of like binary. It's
like literally the second time I see it, it'll change. Everything will be different.
That's right.
So
I was wondering initial how it would change.
Initial, I say 7. I just need a lot of exploring.
What's Jurassic World for you? Like 9, 10?
Yeah, I think it's pretty far up there. I have no real big issues. There's a few moments where I don't love, but I have no big issues.
The small moments that I found in Jurassic World don't even measure close to the lots of moments I found in this consistency. Why are they on the roof? How did they get
Why
there?
the
Her
roof?
leg is like broken.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God, no.
How did she climb up there?
Well, let's get out of here. So, Jen, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Jennifer_Lynn89 and at the Bryce Dallas Howard Network at BDH Network.
And Chris.
All over the place.
Everywhere.
You can follow me, my personal Twitter, if you really hate yourself. You can follow me at Chris Likes Dinos, or Jurassic Outpost, and occasionally the In General podcast, and all over. I mean, I don't know.
You're all over.
I am like all over the place, even mentally. Where can they find you?
Well, I don't know. I honestly didn't expect this to be 50 minutes, but you know, that's what happens. You know, so you guys are listening to it, so you can just find me where you are. So thanks for listening. Thank you so much for listening to this bonus episode. I had a blast out in New York City recording this one with Jen and Chris, and we will certainly be bringing you even more coverage very soon regarding this film. There is, like I said, so much to analyze and discuss, and I can finally say it all. Human clones. What? How? I don't... I'm still... What? Where are we going from here? How does this happen? How am I going to talk about this on the podcast? This is all so much, and I can't wait to process it with all of you. But in the meantime, make sure to visit JurassicParkPodcast.com for all of our show notes, articles, reviews, giveaways, and so much more. We have a lot going on over there currently. Keep up to date with us via Twitter at Jurassic Park Pod, over on Instagram at Jurassic Park Podcast. Search for the Jurassic Park Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, whatever podcast app you choose. Make sure to leave a review with those as well. Those certainly help, and in these times when we've been gaining a lot more listeners due to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we would greatly appreciate if you guys went and left a review. We are also over on YouTube producing a ton of video content of late. It's been nuts, and we'll be doing a lot more focusing on this movie and even the new game Jurassic World Evolution. And lastly, don't forget to search for us over on Facebook too. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you all had a blast with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and enjoy.
Are you hearing this?
Make sure to visit JurassicParkPodcast.com to find all of our past episodes, brand new news articles, information on how to contact us, and much more. It's a great source for everything related to the podcast, and of course Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Head to JurassicParkPodcast.com and help us build a great community.
Anybody hear that?